My brother, who is a decade younger than me, he always tries to make fun of me. Well, I've been going on to learn about stock trading. So when he found out that I made not such a good trade, he decides to embarrass me in front of the whole family. Well, you know what, little bro? I thought that we were close. I thought that we could fix our past, but it looks like you're going down the same road. So this is what I'm going to do. Hey everybody, I'm OP. I guess the first thing you really need to know about me is that I've always been quiet and a hard worker. I like money, but I'm not the kind of person to flash it around with fancy cars and Rolexes and all of that. I respect money, partly because we didn't have a lot of it when I was growing up. My dad sold insurance and my mom was a housewife. Dad died in a car accident about a year ago, and since he worked in the industry, the payout of his life insurance policy was really good. Mom's set, and she has me to help her invest the money. I'm a careful investor, mostly in shares from companies that I do a lot of research on. My main source of income is my job as an insurance broker, just like Pop's. My relationship with my dad was great. I really miss him. He and I were similar in terms of our personalities, kind of shy, conservative with money, keeping to ourselves and enjoying being responsible and helping other people out. The irony is that I look nothing like my dad. He was tall, over 6 feet, and a full head of blonde hair and blue eyes. Everybody's always talked about how handsome he was, the spitting image of his own dad, my grandpa, who's still alive at the age of 81. I didn't get those genes at all. I'm short, brown eyes, and hair that's already thinning. It's my brother, Simon, who, by the way, is 10 years younger than me. Simon, he's not a planned baby, but he has the height and blonde hair, blue eye combo that I'm talking about. Well, ever since we were kids, people have always compared us, usually in a way that lets me know how lucky Simon is to have our father's good looks. I remember them calling him Adonis, and hearing somebody refer to me as the ugly brother on several occasions. Well, you know what? I was never really jealous about it. Oh, no, but I have to admit that it gave me a bit of a complex about my looks. Even my mom is blonde and has greenish eyes, not like Dad and Simon, but not like me either. Nobody really knows where my looks come from. There have been plenty of times that I thought I might even be adopted. Simon has always been spoiled since day one. When he was a baby, I basically got completely ignored, except when Mom and Dad needed me to babysit. Then in school, because he was popular, other kids did his homework for him. I wasn't very popular and had to work my butt off just to get some good grades. It sucked watching him coast through high school while I was already working 60-hour work weeks and the insurance firm, but the silver lining is I learned resilience, while Simon learned to expect other people to do things for him. Of course, to be honest, they mostly do. He was the golden boy in more ways than one, and everybody always praised him. No matter what he does, he takes it for granted, too. He pouts like a little kid when he doesn't get his way, and all of the praise has just given him a colossal ego and just needed to show others how much better he is. This is especially true of me. He looks down on me for working at an insurance firm and not aiming higher like he supposedly does when he's studying for an MBA and internship with a New York hedge fund. He's never getting tired of bragging about what kind of deals he's around and the connections that he's making. I felt like a literal black sheep of the family. Nobody noticed when I got a promotion or that I was starting to make a decent side money with my hustle as a day trader. I learned a few things from our Uncle Reggie. Not because Reggie wanted to teach me, but because I'm very observant. Every time we went to stay with him at his place in Miami, I'd eavesdrop on his convos and read the printouts he left lying around from his swaps and future trading. Derivatives and all that stuff are a bit too risky for me, so I like to stick to shares. It was last week, and we were at Uncle Reggie's, where we came every year to celebrate New Year's Eve. Reggie's house is one of those ranch-style bungalows that backs out into a canal, when you can see dolphins even. Really fancy stuff. The guest rooms are all along one corridors, and Simon always has the room next to mine. We'd only arrive a few hours before, and I'd unpacked and decided to hop into the shower before we met Reggie downstairs for dinner. He'd rented a private room on top of some hotel, and we were supposed to go there for cocktails and a meal before taking a yacht out to watch the fireworks. So, when I got to the bathroom, I saw Simon sitting on the bed, going through my investment portfolio on my laptop, which I stupidly left open. When he saw me, he smirked.
"Oh, crap, bro. I thought you were supposed to be good at this."
I walked over in my towel and snapped the computer shut, but it was too late.
Simon had seen a hit I took on this company that manufactures hydrogen cell batteries.
He whistled and shook his head, stretching his arms out to make himself even taller than me. I felt pathetic.
I felt angry.
The evening was terrible. Uncle Reggie was already drunk, and you could tell he was in a bad mood, so Mom started to drink too. And a few of our cousins, Reggie's kids and their partners, who I absolutely can't stand, were there to make matters worse. We haven't even gotten through dinner yet, and I'd been made fun of about 6 times for my thinning hair and posture. How my job was so boring, blah, blah, blah. Simon kept looking at me to see if I minded, but I'm pretty good at keeping my emotions guarded. I guess this bothered him because he decided, to see if he could actually rattle me, right?
"Hey, everyone, I've got a little speech."
He continued to say how happy he was that everybody was together to celebrate because I needed cheering up. Yeah. When my cousin asked, well, what do I need cheering up about? Simon told them how much I'd lost on my hydrogen cell company. My Uncle Reggie started laughing his butt off, saying, "What made you think you had the balls to trade stocks, kid?" Even my mother was laughing at me, and for the rest of the evening, everybody called me TBL, short for the biggest loser. Simon came up to me at one point and told me that if he needed it, I could borrow some money from him. Ugh. I had a few glasses of wine at this point, and I lost my temper completely. I growled. I shook a balled fist up to him, and I said that if he did not regret it, I'd make him regret it. And he's never seen me actually talk back to him at all, so, I think it shook him, and for a second he looked like he didn't know what to do. So, then the smirk came back. He called everybody over and just told them what the heck I've done just now. Well, that's not good. Our mom and cousins looked at me like I was something even more pathetic. They shook their heads and said that I just could not take a joke, that I was jealous of Simon. So I left. I got the hell out of there and skipped the yacht. Since that night, my family hasn't really been talking to me. It's not as if I actually hit Simon, but he's so high in their self-esteem that any threat to him is totally unacceptable. What do you think? Was I a total a-hole, or does my brother need to suck it up and realize that he can't use me as his punching bag? Especially since I'm his older brother. I'm thinking of getting an early flight home and never speaking to them ever again. I've had enough. What's up, everybody? Mr. Reddito here. So we're going to check out 2 commenters before we hop into the first update. Comment number 1 says this. OP, if I was you, I probably would have done a lot worse. First of all, I can't believe your brother looked at your private property like that. If I came into my siblings' room and they had their private information open on their computer, I would turn around, walk the other way, because that stuff is none of my business, and I think he was in the wrong. Even that would have not been enough, right? Or would it? But then he brings up stuff to hurt you in front of your whole family? Who, to be honest, sound a little unhinged and maybe like they're actually alcoholics. That's crossing such a huge line, and I don't think I would be able to speak to him again without a sincere apology. Okay, so maybe he doesn't owe you respect just because you're older, but you also sound like a decent person. I'm sorry to hear about your father. The same thing happened to a member of my family recently, and I can't believe it's only been a year, and you're also having to put up with this crap already. Anyways, I'm sending you virtual hugs. Comment number 2. I don't know, man. This post seems like it's maybe not the whole truth. It paints your family in such a bad light, but it doesn't really talk about any of the 1 things that you might have done wrong.
If it really went down this way, why didn't you just confront your brother at the time and tell him, well, what he's doing is being disrespectful? I think your response was passive-aggressive. We can deal with these things directly without threatening violence. I'm a mom, and if I had to see my sons fight like that, it would be heartbreaking. Other people here are saying your family sounds like alcoholics. That's crazy. But this seems like pretty normal New Year's behavior. We have no idea what they're like most of the time, but everybody likes to cut loose on New Year's. Am I right? Seems like you need to grow a thick skin or learn some confrontation skills, because I bet your response just ruined the vibe of everybody. They're right to be ignoring you right now. Update number 1. First of all, thanks to the people who gave their condolences about my father. I'm sorry about your losses as well, and although I did not write the post to get sympathy, I've actually already been seeing a therapist, and since the accident, it has helped tremendously. I kinda wish my mom would do the same, but I'm not going to push her. Alright, so I'm not expecting everybody to jump on board, but with what I'm saying, that's cool because I'm making friends. It's not really my goal here. I get it. When money and success come into play, there's always going to be some negativity floating around. And yeah, things are going pretty well for me. But it's not like it fell into my lap. I've been busting my butt for it. As some of you people have argued, I should have stood up to my younger brother sooner instead of letting him walk all over me. And yeah, probably, I'm feeling a bit embarrassed about letting it slide for so long. I strongly disagree with anyone characterizing me as passive-aggressive, though. Maybe I can be a bit meek, but I don't think I was being passive in the situation. It was the first time that I was being aggressive or defensive in any real way. So it's been about a week since the incident, and a couple of things have happened to me and Simon. Obviously, I cooled down a bit and ended up staying in Miami and flying home with everybody else. But Simon never let up with the mocking me about my stock market losses. It's as though he wants me to admit that he's the most powerful one. Sometimes, deep down, I wonder if he's somehow jealous because I'm the only one who doesn't buy his crap. You know, the reason I don't buy into his crap is pretty simple. I know that the hit I took on the particular IPO is only a drop in the bucket compared to my overall portfolio gains. Simon also got the number wrong by a few zeros. I guess he was just looking quickly when I came out of the shower and misread it. That, or he quoted it the wrong way on purpose. Either way, I did not correct him. So yeah, on the plane, he was busting my butt a bunch. I ignored him for most of the part, but my noise-canceling headphones just zoned me out. But then, a few hours after we got home and went to our separate ways, I get a text from a friend saying that Simon was making posts mocking me on Twitter, or X, and some other financial socials that we both use. He was saying that I was a liar about any success I've had, and even told the story about how I'd gotten angry with him for mocking me on New Year's Eve. He portrayed it like I was the deluded psycho, that somebody, who thinks they're doing great when really the world's laughing at their failure. Guys, I was furious, because what I did not mention yet is I'm trying to transition from insurance to doing investment coaching. So that kind of stuff on social means something to me. I've already done work building up to a small but loyal following as a coach. I won't tell you guys my business name here, but I'm sure some of you can figure it out. And Simon's posts are jeopardizing my reputation. It's one thing to make our family laugh at me, but it's another thing to mess with my career. I even found out that he's seriously starting to bet against all my investments, like combing through all the advice I've given in the last few years and doing the exact opposite. So if I decided a company was going to grow, he's just going to bet that it's going to go under, and vice versa. I'm not sure where he's getting the money to invest, though. I can only assume it's been loaned to him, or he's using commission that he's managed to get a piece of at the hedge fund where he's interning. I think he's playing with fire. Anyways, regarding my success, I've decided that I'm going to set the record straight. Not publicly, but showing everyone in my family that I'm not some investment noob with no capital. I'm gonna go along with what Simon says and let him think I lost all the money and my portfolio is wiped. What do you think, guys? Does the punishment fit the crime? Update number 2. So, picture this. Simon decides it's open season on trashing my reputation online and IRL. He's got this knack for stirring up drama, and now he's putting it to work trying to destroy my investment coaching gig. It started innocently enough, dropping little hints here and there, making snide comments about my financial situation. He's got everyone convinced that I'm living on ramen noodles and sleeping on an old futon, all because I have not splurged on designer suits or a shiny new ride. Like I said, he's always been the literal golden child, the one with the flashy car, the fancy clothes. Meanwhile, I'm driving around in my beat-up old sedan, and my wardrobe, it could use some serious upgrades. But hey, that's never bothered me. I'm all about substance over style. But that's not even the worst part. He's starting to spread rumors that I'm a total flop when it comes to investments. Like, seriously? I've spent years honing in my skills and building up my coaching business from the ground up. And now he's online telling anybody who will listen that my track record is all made up, that I'm broke and cannot pick a winning strategy startup if it hit me in the face. Here's where it gets really shady. He's been hitting up my clientele behind my back, trying to poach them himself. Can you believe the nerve of this guy? I mean, he's using my own hard work and dedication against me, trying to steal my livelihood right out from underneath me, wielding his business card from a fancy hedge firm where he's just an intern, probably getting sent out for coffee by the big traders. It's like he's on a mission to destroy everything I've worked so hard to build. And the worst part is, he's actually starting to make some headway. People are buying into his lies, questioning my credibility as a coach, but you know what? I'm not about to let him win. I faced tougher challenges than Simon before, and I've always come out on top. So yeah, he might be more conveniently handsome and have the flashy car and the fancy clothes, but I've got something he'll never have. Integrity. Update number 3. Okay, it's been 2 weeks and I've been busy. A lot of you have been asking how much my portfolio's worth. Clearly, I'm not going to be talking about my personal wealth in detail on a public forum. Suffice to say that I could basically retire today with complete financial freedom. Still, Simon talks about my investment as a pipe dream, a side hustle. He thinks I'm working the same dead-end job that our father worked, and that my forays into trading have been a complete failure. Well, they haven't, and I'm going to prove it by buying a home. It's not going to be a modest house either. I want my family to see how wrong they were to doubt me and go along with my brother's assumption. My whole family's from the Midwest, and if any of you are from the Midwest, you'll know that we like to talk trash about the coastal elite, which is really just a form of jealousy. If you offered somebody from the middle of nowhere, Iowa, a villa in LA, they're not going to be talking about elites. They're going to accept the villa. So I decide to buy a villa. I can't afford the whole thing paid flat out, but I have enough for a huge down payment. Plus, the passive income stream from my investments are enough to pay the mortgage for the foreseeable future. I'm going to stop working in insurance too, because the way things are going with the climate, the insurance business does not seem to be as solid as it once was. I found the property I wanted to buy in Santa Monica, put the bid in on it, and it was accepted. Now I'm working with realtors to sell my place here. The plan is to sell everything and start fresh in Santa Monica. The crazy thing happened while all of this was going down. One of my coaching clients introduced me to his sister. Well, we hit it off. Hit it off so fast that I'm already thinking of inviting her to come out here and live with me in LA, or at least stay for as long as she wants. The next step is to invite my family to lunch so I can tell them the news. My new girlfriend, let's call her Dina, is going to come too. I'm embarrassed to say it, but I've always been nervous about introducing a woman I like to my brother because of how everybody calls him the good-looking one, and me, Mr. Ugly. I don't actually think I'm so bad-looking, but the initial impression of the difference in our looks, it makes me insecure. I figure that when a woman sees Simon, they'll just think that they got the wrong brother. For that reason, I haven't had too many girlfriends. But I'm starting to realize how this insecurity has been ruining my life. It's really time to make a change, and I can't wait to see the look on everybody's faces. I'm setting the lunch up for a few days from now, and I'll be sure to update you all then. It's going to be at a fancy restaurant, and it's going to be on my birthday. Side note, my birthday gets forgotten almost every year, so I don't expect anybody to remember that the lunch is on my birthday. Although Dina knows and will probably say something to the family, I suppose. Updates number 4. The lunch was yesterday, and it could not have gone any smoother. I'm still buzzing because of how great it was to reveal everything to my mom and brother and the couple of cousins who I invited along for the show. Well, anyways, Uncle Reggie happened to be in town as well, so I got the unexpected surprise of his big, dumb, arrogant jaw dropping to the ground as well. Dina and I showed up a few minutes later, and I said that we should be there. She looked great in a form-fitting white cotton dress, and I had a new suit on. The moment we walked in, I could see everybody staring. Not just my family, I could tell that we made a good couple. And my family was just so shocked to see me dressed up. Normally, I would be wearing an old knit sweater with a polo shirt or something, and I would be alone, looking at my phone so I didn't have to make small talk with everyone. But now here I was with sparkly Dina looking good, wearing an expensive cologne and treating everybody to a fancy lunch. The funny thing is that I'm not at all materialistic. I enjoyed looking nice with Dina, but the things that really mattered to me aren't worn on the outside. Sorry if I'm being corny. I like to figure out companies' performance on the stock market. I like to connect with good people, like Dina, and I like to enjoy my nerdy hobbies like gaming and anime, and all of this showing off was to let Simon know that he had crossed the line, and I could see it right away. Yep, him recalibrating, calculating his next move. The kicker was informing them about my imminent move. So, Dina had the photos on her tablet and her purse, and we showed everyone the new place in Santa Monica. My mom asked if Dina was going with me, and Dina smiled and said that we were going to take it slow. We were just so comfortable with one another that the idea of long distance wasn't really that scary. I could see that my mom felt genuinely shocked and happy for me at the same time. Maybe even a little bit sad that I was indeed moving away. But, well, I don't know. Even though she neglected me ever since Simon was born, well, I still love her and didn't actually want to see her hurt in any way, so I made sure that she knew she was plenty welcome in LA anytime she wanted to come and visit. Okay, so the bad part of the lunch was when Simon decided that he was going to go down without a fight, right? He basically tried to imply that I was jealous of him and insecure, and that all of this was smoke and mirrors, a common effect. There was no house. Dina was just somebody convinced to pretend to be my girlfriend. Dina responded by giving me a big ol' smooch on the lips. And Simon turned red as a tomato. As we were leaving, he came up to me and tried to get some stock tips off me. I said, 3 words to him. Are you kidding? He pretended he was just joking. So I'll update once the stuff with the move has died down and things are a bit more calm. For now, wish me luck selling my property. Final update. I've been set up in Monica for about a month now. It's great. I'd work day trading full time, and Dina just left after a 3-week stay. She helped me pick out our furniture for the villa, and it's looking amazing. We have plans for her to come back next month, and until then, I'm focused on riding the wave of some surprising agriculture industry investments I've made that are now starting to come to fruition. The coaching business is even hotter than ever. I guess because of my new digs, external wealth is a symbolic. What can I say? But the most surprising thing is what I learned the day before yesterday. I was texting with a cousin back home, and he told me that Simon's in trouble. It turns out that he was so choked about my success and jealous that he tried to duplicate my investment using funds from the firm where he was interning. But he went about it all wrong and ended up losing not only a bunch of the firm's money, but all of his personal investments too. He was in the hole for hundreds of thousands of dollars, getting kicked out of the firm, and might even be investigated by the feds. The last part had me sweating a little. It didn't seem likely, as I did not think that he's done anything illegal. The money he got from the firm was what he managed to wrangle out of their investors using his charm. And there was the moral of the story. A charming kid with no real brains for finance. Somebody who had everything given to him his entire life and for that reason had no resource of his own. I almost felt sorry for him. Then I thought back to the 1,000,001 times he tried or had succeeded in humiliating me, especially that New Year's Eve when I was called the biggest loser to the only people I call family. I knew that he would bounce back, hopefully after doing some soul-searching. I called our mom and made sure she knew that, everything's going on with Simon. She hadn't known, but I made sure to let her know that she should not give him any of the insurance money from Dad's death. I considered lending Simon the money to pay his debt if he cleaned up his act, apologized to me, and showed me some of the respect that a big brother deserves. I might even let him come live with me for a bit. After all, he's still got that charm. I could use a personal assistant, and he's good with people. Could be a real help to my growing investment coaching business, and if it doesn't work out, he could always become a yoga instructor, a dog walker, or a waiter in the industry bistro or something. LA is always looking for those people.